There may have been Confederate units or Union units that had this kind of fancy uniform. The 1st Virginia Cavalry comes to mind, and I think that what this might be modeled after, but I'm not a fan because it's not the majority of the period. Alright, so there we are, and we're going to paint them and complete some of this cavalry. The reason being that I have another figure that actually is ready to be used, and I don't remember where this guy came from, but we modified him to take that arm down from a high slash to in front, and you can see it kind of looks like that. I mean, it's too bad. We tried, and here's the point. These things are sustainable. You see there's a little bit of a buildup on his arm right there, but we're going to ignore that. We can cut it off, but for now, for more sustainability, we can get that to be better later when we do more of these guys. So the point is, it is sustainable, it's repeatable, and it makes the figure far more likely in his pose and his posture. So that will make another 3-stand unit. Okay, so as I said, we have then the 3 guys, the 3 amigos, like this, which will be fine. I was going to use, again, one of these guys was going to be an officer, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mount them like this. And in a sense, you'll see that the guy on the left in dark gray there, that isn't really primed yet, he's the one slashing overhead, and the guy in the middle did the same kind of thing. The guy in the middle is looking like Robin Hood with the goatee and a little Jefferson Davis kind of a look, and you can see that his arms move down, but the other guy's got his arm up in the air. That's an Italeri figure. The guy in the middle, I don't think is Italeri, it might be IMAX. But anyway, so the other guy in the with the sword up in the air is fine, but that is a question as to whether or not we want the guy with the firing carbine to be mixed in with these guys with the swords. We don't know yet, but why not? It doesn't matter. It just looks interesting. Okay, all right. So here you get a pretty good idea of the last effort that we did in making this unit haphazard, but not so much in its pose selection as it is in the coloring, and it's a pretty good effect. You of course forget the name of the flag and forget the name on the base. These are just, you know, the guys that we just chose for no reason. Well, we chose them because they were sloppy. And we put these together fast because we had this game that we were putting on for P Ridge, and it was a lot of men. It's basically what they say was the Gettysburg of the West, although that's not true. It was a lot of men involved, but nowhere near the implications of Gettysburg. They just call it Big Battle of the West versus Big Battle of the East. Okay, so it is a misnomer to call it the Gettysburg of the West if you look at it any other way than the fact that there's a lot of men involved. Okay, so that's that. So here we see all blue kepis, brown tans, no greens other than the base, and blue pants. In 1 or 2 cases we have kind of a beige pant, and the blankets are all a variety. Whatever they could find at the time or take from the Union, they did. And same with the backpacks and everything. And the red blanket is a nice touch. A lot of guys I know, they give a calico or a checkered pattern to some of these blankets, and I just won't go that far. But they do, and the figures might be a bigger scale, so it's a lot easier to paint. But the fact is, that's enough is enough. And I spent a lot of time finalizing how these guys are going to look, and this would be, again, repeatable and sustainable. So now that I've got my color scheme, I can take the colors that I've experimented with and now continue to do more Confederates to get them to look even more less uniform or variety in their uniforms, while having the sculpts remain pretty close to the same. And this also is a good example of the swapping hats of the two Italeri figures that are firing there with the long bayonets, which by the way are beautiful. You can see the one guy swap the hat over here, right there, with the other guy over here. So it's a good effect. It worked out very well. So that's good. I'm happy about that. Alright, so that's where we're at, and I hope you've enjoyed these series of videos. There's going to be more, but for now, mass production is going to begin on cleaning up a lot of the troops that we've got already, and continuing with artillery, which is coming up in the next couple of segments. The infamous and rare Italeri 6032 artillery set, which is only available at extremely high prices, and is extremely rare, out of production. And why is it wanted? Well, one of the reasons was that it has a 10-inch, I believe, a 10-inch or 8-inch mortar in the set, and that's what made it valuable. It also has a Gatling gun. Both of those are no longer important. The Gatling gun is available from HAT, and the mortar itself, of which there are now many varieties, especially in 3D printing, is obtainable in very many places. So the Italeri 6032 only has value in the fact that it's a single set of 4 guns and crew with a whole bunch of earthworks in the kit. That's the only thing it has. It has no value if you're looking for the equipment, because the equipment is obtainable elsewhere. I've learned that after buying several of the kits, thinking I could not find the naval mortar, I should say the siege mortar, but I did find them both in metal and in 3D printing. So definitely the set is only rare and out of production, and has that value to it, but otherwise it has no value. The figures are the Italeri Union figures that are sculpted with long coats, shell jackets, and so on. That is a little bit odd, because every picture you see of the American Civil War, it's never, it's like every picture is in the summer, and nobody has a jacket on. Alright, anyway, so there we are, and we'll come back starting with those artillery guys and any other updates to these infantry.